But yeah, we can start here, and we can go ahead and start with your story, Dan. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Dan. What is it that you do and your journey so far?
Yeah, so I'm a criminal defense lawyer out of Alberta, Canada, based in Edmonton, is the capital. Basically, we've been in business for a little bit over a year and a half. Started out just myself and a partner, and now we've got a number of associates who work for us. Everybody specializes in criminal law. That's all we do. We do anything from a traffic ticket up to murder in terms of the type of criminal offenses that we handle.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been steadily growing and trying to manage that growth. Of course, as we've been along the journey, it's the business of law that has kind of become dominating my portion as the managing partner, and the marketing of the business of law, which has been quite a journey for me, but is allowing us to grow now, right? So, but as I say, it's quite the learning experience, as you're not trained in law school how to market a law firm.
Of course.
But we're certainly busy and still serving clients exceptionally well in our area, in our specialty, and beyond that, we're looking to grow and expand and get more lawyers on board and serve not only Edmonton but all the surrounding areas.
Love it,
Alberta.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, I'd love to learn a little bit more about your kind of personally. I mean, what was the experience like starting your own law firm? The kind of the journey, the struggles, the experience. How did it all feel for you?
Well, initially it was starting out. It was terrifying. I went out with a partner who ended up quickly not being a partner and doing his own thing. He decided to go back to the government. I came into a province I wasn't familiar with, a city I wasn't familiar with, and we opened up, and we hoped that clients would come through the door, and that was initially nobody came. So that was one of the terrifying parts. It probably led my other partner to go back to Goodman, where it was cozy. Yes, the initial startup was difficult, and still is as I say, a work in progress.
Yep.
And we're, as I say, we work with new providers every day to try to develop our firm. But there's a lot of criminal lawyers in Edmonton, and differentiating yourself from really your colleagues who are exceptional is hard to do, right? So you have to find ways to get competitive edges and do show them a different side of you as a lawyer and as a law firm, right?
So, well, and on top of that, one thing that you mentioned as well, Dan, is like, unfortunately in law school, it's just not one of those things that they've really focused on. Is like, okay, when you are looking to open up your law firm, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you set your law firm aside from all the other competitions, and how do you market your law firm? So for somebody like yourself, and I hear this often, you have to wear so many different hats. You're an actual criminal defense attorney yourself. You're looking to build an actual business, right? So managing a team, all the softwares, all the billing invoices, and then marketing on top of that. That's a whole different thing, right? A whole different ballgame that you've got to learn. And talking about marketing, I'm just curious, before we went ahead and, got introduced, before we actually jumped on a call, just curious, what have you done, in terms of marketing to get more clients through the door, kind of in the last year and a half? What have you kind of experimented with?
Yeah. So in terms of being different and differentiating ourselves. So, I mean, the experience I had is I was a prosecutor and then became a defense lawyer. So that was kind of, something that could be marketed easily to the public as giving me some insight into both sides of the criminal law and how it works. But in terms of customer care and client care, it was spending the time with clients and finding the time to spend time with to ensure that in a very stressful circumstance, I mean, sometimes devastating circumstance for people, that we were always there for them and making sure that we were spending time with them, which was goes beyond just, the technicalities of the law and trial, etc., which we handle. But it was ensuring that the client understood what was going on and keeping them informed every step of the way. And that was kind of the critical piece. I think where we got not only the client, but referrals from that client. So that was
right.
A surefire way of getting new clients was good ratings, good rankings, and then having them refer us to their friends, right? Mm-hmm. But again, that growth is small and it takes a long time, right? Mm-hmm. So you get a great Google review, that's great, but there's always someone who's got 180 Google reviews, so that was the difficulty, right? How do you do it? So that was where marketing came in, and I tried. I would say tried a lot of it. Maybe not everything, but I tried a lot. So we built a website, right? We spent a tremendous amount of money on a website to find out that that means absolutely nothing if the website doesn't show up anywhere and you have no presence. So that was the initial big spend and big blunder, and so then focused on pay-per-click campaigns through Google and used various providers and found out that some providers personalize campaigns to make sure that you're featured and focused on, and some do not. And the price doesn't change whether they personalize or they don't. It's all expensive, right? Mm-hmm. And you could find yourself locked in with various marketing companies and not necessarily getting any results. So I used, probably 10 or 15 companies where I wasn't getting any results and wasn't happy. Mm-hmm. And then I spent a massive amount of money with an American company that really promoted itself, as creating a lead generation system that was foolproof and branding you as an expert in the field, and that would draw attention and that would create clientele. And so far, one client. So that was a learning lesson. Yep. So it's been, you're right. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I wasn't trained to do marketing and sales. I wasn't trained how to run a business. I wasn't trained to do any of these things, right? So you some expensive lessons, right, as I've gone along, and basically learned how to better interview and deal with people who are running marketing companies or consultants, and quickly assessing whether they're going to be helpful to my growing my law firm, or whether they're another one that I'm going to have to move on from, and hopefully not lose my shirt, because I only have I'm running out of shirts at this point. So that was the issue with the marketing side of things. And I've done traditional marketing like billboards and radio and those things, and again, those are as I've learned, kind of archaic, and they yes, maybe they create your face, people know your face, but they don't create income and return on investment, and very hard to see, right? So what I like to see with marketing companies is immediate return on investment, right? And that's not what everyone offers, and that's what that's my bottom line. That's all I care about at this point, because I've got to pay employees. I've got to make sure they're taken care of, and take care of the accountants to take care of the books, and all the elements of a business need to be taken care of. And if I'm paying huge money into marketing ventures that are promised to pay 6 months down the road, that's not necessarily what I need to focus on. So.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, there's so much to break down there, Dan. I mean, even for myself, me running an agency, I've invested a lot of money myself into other mentors and coaches and kind of how to run a successful marketing agency. And you learn a lot, right, from investing a lot of money. Maybe something doesn't work, maybe something does learn, but you learn from all of those mistakes. And for me personally, at least, I think you're kind of already gauging that, Dan, is we try to go out of our way to kind of adjust things and really personalize the entire service to each one of our clients like yourself. And we kind of coach you along the way as well. So like, for example, I remember before we actually partnered, on the call I spoke about, your website is fantastic, it's beautiful, but it's not made to convert, people on the website into paying clients, because it's kind of like it's just there for information. So instead, we've got to build out landing pages and so on. So there's lots of learning that happens after kind of investing. But I mean, overall, I remember when I spoke to yourself, this is again before we partnered. You were just kind of at the stage there where you're just like, look, Marcus, I'm doing like this. I've got like 5 or 6 different. I mean, how many marketing kind of softwares and marketing agencies were you working with before you partnered with us? I think it was like 5 or
6 going.
6 or something, right?
With six, and they all had a different. They all had the same budget.
Right.
It was like a competing war to see who could outdo the other. And
sometimes you got to do that.
Keep track of it all, and that was exceptionally painful.
Yeah, yeah. I can imagine that. So it's just, you've got so much going on. You've got to manage all these marketing agencies. So it's just a lot easier to just have that one that you can send them a message, they'll get back to you, and that's kind of really what we try to deliver. Another thing that I wanted to touch on, something that you mentioned there, Dan, was about kind of the traditional forms of marketing, such as a billboard or perhaps newspapers or even radio. I'm sure obviously you've learned now from your experience. Sure, it definitely gets your name out there, right? Of course, people around Alberta or Edmonton, for that matter, now know your name, perhaps in your face on a billboard. The only kind of negative is it's really not trackable, so you can't track how many people saw the billboard, and then because of that billboard called, so you can't work out the ROI. Whereas with online marketing, it's down to the cent, right? You can see exactly how much was spent on what campaign, how many clicks we got for that, and how many leads generated. And then with our software, you can even see the kind of conversion rates as well with that. So yeah, overall, I hear a lot, and you're not the only one, obviously, Dan. There's so many. Yeah. I think overall law firms, I think you'll probably agree with me, are in quite an archaic way of doing marketing, right? They used to
absolutely.
Kind of
it's just what you know, right, or what you're brought up with, and I mean, I didn't know what a landing page was before I started, right, and. As I say, the billboards and those companies are very funny, because if you ask, I'm going to put a different phone number on the billboard because I want to see if I get any calls to that phone number. They discourage that, right? Because they don't want. Of course, they're doing that. They don't want you to know you've spent X amount of dollars and that no one's calling that number, because that doesn't matter. They say to you, well, your website will get more visits. Mm-hmm. How do you know the visits are related to the billboard? You never would. So it's just simply not traceable. If you have a lot of money, infinite amounts of money, sure, throw yourself up on a billboard. Yeah. But if you want bang for your buck, it's not the best way to spend your money, right? Yeah. And again, as I say, it's something you learn. Mm-hmm. And traditional ways of doing things are. You kind of have to let those go. You have to adapt if you want to be successful.
I mean, look, it's 2021. We're post kind of a pandemic. I mean, I guess technically we're still in a pandemic, and right now there's more eyeballs on this than ever before. There's people at home on social media, quite literally ever before. In the past. So right now is the best time for any attorney or lawyer watching this. Whether it's with me or anybody else, at least just explore it, learn about it, educate yourself. It's just incredible. And we'll talk about kind of the results here in a second as well. But one last thing I just wanted to touch on one thing that you mentioned, and this really frustrates me about this industry in terms of marketing for lawyers, that is. A lot of these marketing agencies, and I have a lot of contacts and I kind of network with a lot of people. It's just a case where they're like, oh, wait, law firms have a lot of money, so I can charge 20 grand, right? For me is I look at the ROI. What's the return on investment I'm going to get from my client? And then let's base our pricing off of that. As we get in them a bigger return on investment, therefore our service scales, right? So we don't go ahead and charge, 10, 15, 20 grand up front as, well, that's quite a large upfront investment. And I'd much rather show you that we can get you results and actually make you money. Then we can talk about kind of extra services and kind of upscaling the whole marketing system in general. And that's just something that I've seen, whether it's like billboard ads, I'm sure they probably cost quite a lot for a law firm, like TV ads and so on, right? That's one thing for law firms. Your guys' overheads are crazy. I know that for a fact. So
yeah, I spent a lawyer's salary on advertising.
Exactly. Yeah.
in 8 months.
Exactly.
So, it's not rocket science once you realize it. Is what do I do all day? I scroll on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at things, right? I mean, social media, right, which I hadn't used before, like in terms of Facebook and the marketing that I'm doing with yourself. I'm always on that. but I never thought, how that could be effective for me as a lawyer, right?
Right.
Because I didn't search anything on Facebook, right? And I thought, well, I'd never look for a criminal defense lawyer on Facebook. So I thought Google would be the most effective because when someone gets in trouble, criminal defense lawyer in Alberta, right? But kind of what I realized is, the eyeballs, the same way a billboard works. If a billboard could suck someone into when they had that problem, is the way that Facebook works. It's a constant billboard, but it can draw people in. It can give you a statistic. It can draw them in and actually put them in your office in a chair. So that's the way social media worked and works, right? And again, as I say, when I worked with yourselves, that was the first time I used social media in any capacity. For my advertising and marketing. So it was the first foray into Facebook or anything like that. And I don't know how many people have come up to me. No one's come up to me and said, I saw you on the billboard, right? And I'm still on billboards, by the way. But they have come up to me and said, I saw your video on Facebook, right? My neighbor's 7 years old saw my video on
That's
Facebook,
incredible.
right? So you kind of get brand recognition, which is what, radio and billboards profess to give you, right? Because there are eyeballs all the time on those ads, even if they're not signing up. But then if you're targeting the way you guys have set it up, is that you're getting the right eyeballs on it, and you're getting people kind of in your web, and they're signing up when they are facing a problem. And identifying that problem is what you guys do especially well. Alongside, you speak to us, you get feedback, and work with us. But it's critically important. So I know social media, again, I never thought of it as a marketing and advertising thing until I took a chance on yourselves, right? So
it's crazy. I mean, Facebook knows everything about everybody. It tracks absolutely everything, right? So for me as well, when I first started learning about this stuff about 4 or 5 years ago, it just blew my mind on how everything works. I started to understand about, for example, Dan, if you go online and you look for like a red pair of sunglasses, right, on a website, but you don't buy them for whatever reason, and then you go on Facebook and Instagram like 2 minutes later, and those same pair of sunglasses are being advertised to you. Right?
It's terrifying.
Right? And it's like, how do you know that? And then now that I've learned, how it all works, it just all makes complete sense to me. So that's essentially, by the way, for anybody watching this, by the way, any attorney or lawyer watching this, really where the value comes in from our system and where we make an incredible return on investment for our clients is those retargeting ads. So instead of somebody looking at a red pair of sunglasses, somebody might look at Dan's landing page or a website. And if they're looking, for a criminal defense attorney, we're going to have the pixel on the website, which is then going to track, obviously, whoever looked at it. And we can retarget those people. And we can say, hey, look, we noticed you're interested. Here's an offer, right? And that's when people really take advantage of that. Cool. I mean, for anybody watching this as well, I just wanted to kind of, because I'm sure there's going to be lots of lawyers that are watching this and they're a little bit skeptical about marketing agencies, about just investing in general, because there are so many of these marketing agencies out there. And I've spoken to you so many times about this, Dan. I really don't like to class myself as a marketing agency because that name gets thrown around so many times. And there's so many of these marketing agencies that pop around, from the woodworks, give it a shot for a month, do a terrible job, and then therefore that lawyer has now a bad, negative look at a marketing agency. So from yourself, Dan, as a lawyer and as a business owner, what kind of made you, from our initial call to basically now, what made you go, do you know what, let's give it a shot with these guys. I think these guys, let's just give it a shot.
Yeah, no, I think, before when I said it was my first foray into social media, I used the really expensive guy from the States who put me on Facebook and told me I was going to make $500,000 off his marketing, right? And I invested a bunch of money, right? And then he put out videos, but they weren't personalized videos and they weren't focused on anybody specifically, right? And I kind of fell as a sucker to it because when I spoke to him, he sold me on a program. That's the last time I ever spoke to him. I've never spoke to him since. I took my money and then I never spoke to him. Whereas with yourselves, everything was personalized. So it was from the very get-go, I was looking at, what my what my website looked like, what I was focusing on, what kind of clients I was looking for, and then that continues, right? So it's tweaking that constantly, giving ideas as to content that I could create that would help the campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just saying, well, we'll take the 3 stagnant pictures off your website, we'll post them up, and that's gonna be good enough. So it's the fact that with your particular agency, which is unique, is that you do feel like you're the only client that you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the ideas are constant, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of improvement, how to change an ad, how to make leads more effective, and how would it quantify things?
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible, right? So and there's multiple strategies going on at any given time, all designed to build leads, right? Some of them are quick strategies to build brand recognition, while you have others that are building really quality, high value clients. So I find it's amazing because there's so many facets of the campaign going on. And you guys are always, it's like you don't sleep because it's always happening. So it's great. And in terms of the results, we see the results because we're constantly. Basically, it's making sure you have the time to deal with the results, because you're going to be dealing with clients who are reaching out to you all the time, and you got to be able to manage those. So it's almost like you have to match the commitment that the firm you've hired has, right?
Right.
And as I say, you guys are very fair in the beginning too, in terms of it's a trial, right? Here's reduced fees to see what we can do.
Yep.
I had no problem quickly ramping up my spending with yourselves after the first month, because I was very happy with how things were going and communication, and it does seem you guys are deeply invested in making sure things work and there is success. It's not like I take your money, I'm running,
right?
And so that was and it continues to be really good, right? So,
one thing. So first of all, thank you. I really, really appreciate all of the kind words. That's quite literally what we try to focus on, is making each one of our clients feel like they are the only client. Because at the end of the day, the last thing, and again, I've experienced this myself as well, is with a mentor. You might invest with them and you don't hear from them again. You kind of just have to figure out yourself. Whereas, same with you, if you invest into a marketing agency, and then you just can't hear from them, the communication's terrible, you're kind of left in the dark and you have to kind of figure out yourself and so on. So we really, really try to focus on kind of communications and different strategies as well. At least at the time of this recording, we haven't chosen a specific sector of law just to help. We're open-minded to working with different sectors. So, for example, with criminal, we're still exploring different systems, strategies to get better, high-quality leads. And yourself, Dan, as you said it to you earlier today, I know for a fact you're going to be one of our top-performing lawyers simply because you're so responsive. Whenever we throw an idea, you're up for it. Create a video straight away. That's exactly what we look for. That's guaranteed success, right? If we're determined to help you and you're determined to work with us, it's guaranteed at that point. In terms of results, to be honest, this is going to put you on the spot, Dan. I didn't really ask you to kind of note this down. Obviously you've seen an increase in terms of messages on Facebook, as you didn't run any ads previously. In terms of cases and just overall clients, have you seen, and by the way, for preface, anybody that's watching this, by the way, it's only been 4 weeks that we've actually been running ads. It's been just like the first month.
Yeah, that's right.
So within the last,
I'd say we're at 4 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Within the last 4 weeks, have you seen, what kind of improvements have you seen? I should probably word it that way.
Yeah. No, we've got, I don't have the exact number, but I would say, it's brought in. So if we do, 40 to 50 cases a month, right? With all our endeavors and whatnot, and referrals and everything. So, this quickly generated for us, 15 to 20 cash clients within a couple of weeks. So that's, 20, at a modest amount, that's 60 grand or something, $60,000 in terms of money generated for us. So it was dramatic, and as I said, it was a question of making sure you're prepared. If you're using your services, you have to be prepared to handle those leads and manage those leads, because it's a high volume of people who become engaged and interested, right? And we're just started, so as I say, we're always evolving and working on ideas, and right now we're working on like even trying to get these, grab kind of the whales or the bigger clients, right? So it's and as I say, it's all trackable because you have the software that you provide to us, right? Which is really neat, where you can assign lawyers and do all these really very interesting things that comes with it. So a lot of times tracking leads and tracking how a program is performing is so frustrating. But this one, it goes into software that you guys provide, your firm provides to us, and then you can actually it's as easy as a drag and drop to a lawyer, and that lawyer, if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which some of my lawyers do, some of them don't, and it lets me know how we're doing. So it's as I say, it's impressive in such a short period of time. Because usually these things take time to ramp up, right? Like it takes time for in any campaign I've ever run. It's taken time for things to ramp up, but this ramped up kind of immediately. Like within a week, I was like, wow, it's a lot of calls, a lot of leads, and it's dramatic that way. I've not seen anything like it. So
I mean, I cannot. I'm so excited for Q4. For yourself, for all of our clients, I'm super pumped. We've got so many more ideas to experiment. The ads budget is only going to get scaled from here on. The more clients we get for you, the more we can start scaling it as well.
Which is why I have no problem with that. I like doing that.
And I think
that's why I tell people, don't have if you have a short-term vision of it, but the long-term, I'm happy to spend money with an advertising agency or a marketing agency if they produce results, right? Because it's undeniable when those numbers are there. Why would you not say scale up? Right?
It just makes sense. So I'm super excited. Fantastic. I mean, look, Dan, thank you so much for jumping on. I mean, overall, would you recommend us to any other law firm out there?
Absolutely.
Not any criminal defense law firms in Edmonton.
No one around me. No one who works in where I do. But anyone else? I would recommend you highly, because as I say, I've worked with countless agencies. I've worked with the gurus in the States who are selling stuff on Amazon and all that, best-selling books and whatnot, and I can safely say this is where you'll get the best customer service experience, and more importantly, if you could care less about that, you're going to get the best results. Right?
That's what matters at the end of the day, right? Awesome.
The only thing I would say to any lawyers is you get in what you put in, so you also have to work with the agency, and as Marcus will always tell me, he's like a consultant. I agree with that. He works alongside you and gives you great suggestions, and you got to meet him there so you can do great things, right? So
awesome.
It's like a partnership. It really is a partnership, as opposed to just hiring somebody to get you some clicks on some ads. So it's much more. So I would recommend that highly. So.
I appreciate you saying that's exactly how I look at it. I look at it as a partnership rather than just hey, here's $5,000. Give me some link clicks. At the end of the day, we're trying to make you more bottom line revenue, right? So there's so much more than just, hey, let's launch an ad. So I appreciate you saying that. Cool, Dan. What I'll do, you can find Dan anywhere around this video. There's going to be links to all of his social media, to his website. You can check him out. Obviously, if somehow you're watching this and you're in Edmonton and you're looking for a criminal defense attorney, definitely reach out to Dan. Sorry, actually, you're in Canada, so let me rephrase that. Criminal defense lawyer. You can reach out to Dan. Awesome. Dan, any final words?
No, that's
it.
I think I've said a lot, as lawyers always do. But I just would say again, I highly recommend Marcus and his team, and you could be a fool not to work with them if you have the opportunity. So
appreciate it. Awesome.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Dan. Have an amazing